Welcome to Breathwork Mastery, become a certified Breathwork Instructor. My name is Nicolas and I will be your guide, your teacher in this course. And shortly, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself and how I started, why I am such a huge fan of breathwork and doing this kind of work. I used to work as a chef in Sweden. I did this for almost 15 years of my life, and I actually loved the work, and I learned a lot. Stressful environment, teamwork, and things like this. As you can imagine, it was a lot of stress, a lot of long hours. I used to work 12, sometimes 14 hours in a day, and I would work 6 days in a week, Monday to Saturday, and I have the Sunday off. And I did this for many years, and at some point I started to feel, what's the point? All my relationships ended because of my work. There was no time off, and when I was off on Sunday, I wanted to spend that time by myself because I needed to use all my energies during those 6 days, and then I felt just depleted and I needed some rest on Sunday. So, 12 years of doing this, 14 years. One day, I'm working, it's a Friday. Fridays and Saturdays are always the most busy. And I'm preparing the kitchen. I was working as a sous chef, which means I'm working in the front of the kitchen. So there's people working on the grill, there's people working in the cold side. And then I am reading the tickets, doing the sauces and plating in the front, and then communicating with the service and sort of running the business, running the front of the restaurant. A lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure, and every Friday I used to get these migraines because stress, pressure. And I always felt this, that my eyes get a little bit blurry. And we have this light with heat above the food. And it will reflect on the metal and it really hurts my eyes. So I get a little bit disoriented. I used to have a chronic inflammation in my wrists because I had the heavy pots with sauce. And I would lean over and I would sauce all the plates with food. And put a lot of stress here. So sometimes this would be worse than others, but when it was worse, I could barely grip the fries or even open a door. So I started to think about this. I worked that day, closed the kitchen at 12, come home to my apartment, middle of the night, and I sit down in my couch and I just feel completely exhausted. I sit down and say, fuck, I'm so tired. I can't do this. I need more energy. And in that moment, I remember, I'm a very curious guy. I like to explore certain philosophies, yogic philosophy, Hinduism, and things like this, metaphysical things of how the nature of reality works. And I always read this for many, many years since I was young. I used to read about these things, consider these things, and think about these things. Energy, how does these things work? And in that moment, in my exhaustion, this thought comes to my mind. Hey, all of these things that you used to read, all these spiritual practices that are designed as a way to increase the health of the physical body, increase the mental well-being, and connect with the spiritual nature of life. All of these techniques in whatever religion or spiritual practice that you look, they have some sort of breathing practice involved in it. So I started to think, maybe this is something to look into. So I Googled breathwork or breathing. I didn't know what breathwork was, and on Google, YouTube, it comes up all of these breathwork techniques and things. So I start to study these things. I stay up the whole night and read about the science because I'm a guy, I don't jump right into the practice. I like to learn, like, how does this work? Like the chemistry and all these things. What is really happening? The next day, I wake up inspired. I start to do the breathing. I start to breathe deeply. I lay down on my bed and I start to breathe. And I start to feel these tingling sensations in my body. I start to feel energy. And I keep breathing. These sensations start to become more intense. I come after a few minutes, I take one more breath, and then I breathe out. And I hold my breath. And for the first time in 15 years is what it felt like to me. I feel complete physical relaxation. My whole body relaxed. And at the same time, I feel power, energy flowing through my body. My mind is fully awake, fully aware. My body is fully relaxed. And in that moment, some tears comes from my eyes, not for any specific reason, simply because of the joy and the pleasure of complete relaxation. So after this, I felt very inspired. I started to research, I started to do courses. I spent a few years starting to focus on my breathing. And when you start to correct the breathing pattern that you already have, breathing is an automatic process of our system, but we can take conscious control of this automatic process of breathing. But we have developed a routine, a habit of breathing, a certain breathing pattern that we have made into a habit. So our body has learned to breathe in a certain way based on our mental states and our habits and the way that we live our lives. When I started to focus and learn more about the breathing, started to do breathing practices, I noticed that my breathing pattern starts to change in my daily life, meaning at work. I keep my breathing slow and steady deep into the belly, and I feel that the stress that I used to feel is different. We can still be stressed. We have a pressure situation, but we can handle it by managing our energy, by breathing in a certain rhythm, certain tempo. Calm breathing relaxes your body. But this adrenaline, when you have stress, this activates. But if we feel this as a tension, it closes us down and we feel like we want to stop. We want to close down. We want to avoid. We feel stress and pressure. But if you breathe slowly in the moment of stress, your body relaxes, and this allows this adrenaline to spread, and your mind becomes more awake. So body relaxed, mind fully alert. And this allows us to deal with stress. Adrenaline is not a stress hormone. It's a hormone of action. It's meant to come to us in situation where we need to have more power to deal with the situation in front of us. And this is something that I learned. This is something that I started to use. And I felt this was a very, very powerful thing because I felt my state of mind, my mental state in stressful situation, in any situation, whether it's relationship problems or drama, or whether it's work. But being able to stay relaxed using the breathing allows you to think clearly and deal with the situation in front of you. So this was one of my main lessons. There are many other things that we can benefit by using and understand the breathing. And it's my wish and my intention to share with you how to learn how to use the breath for yourself to start to influence these automatic systems inside your body. The body, the mind, and the mental states are connected to the breathing patterns and rhythms that we are using every single day. A certain mental state has a breathing pattern connected to it. That means when you're stressed, you're going to breathe in a certain way. probably shallow up top. Maybe hold your breath, forget to breathe for a while, and then have to. This is a stressful type of breathing, but this is the mental state that causes the breathing pattern to happen. If we are aware of our breathing, even when the mental state happens, we can change the breathing pattern, and our brain will recognize that the breathing pattern that we're using is not a mental state of stress, and it will not feel like stress. We start to influence and consciously choose our own mental states and our well-being in our body. So my hope for you is to learn this. This will be in the first module, and then we will move into learning how to share these, learn what is happening, emotional things, and how to share this with people, how to teach people how to do this, how to hold space, how to use this beautiful, beautiful self-healing modality of your own breath to first start to heal yourself, start to understand yourself, start to balance yourself, and then start to share this with people and allow them the opportunity to start to heal themselves as well, balance themselves, to feel what is inside that has not been seen, that has not been felt yet. Because as we start to breathe deeply, the body relaxes more and more. We gain access to these more subconscious and unconscious parts of our being. And in that state of relaxation, the two sides of our nervous system, the two sides of our brain, because of this breathing and the oxygenation of the system, these two sides starts to harmonize, positive, negative, logic, creative. They become one. They harmonize because of this rhythm and the energy produced by the breathing. And you end up in the middle, and from that middle point, you can see and understand and feel what is there. And you can see more clearly, and you have the opportunity to get a release from any tension and stress that might be there. And this will, my wish is not to create an expectation that you have, that every session will be in a certain way, that you will have certain emotions, that you will have certain experience of altered states of consciousness. These are possible, but to take away the expectation and simply allow the breathing and the body to show you whatever is there, because we sometimes have expectations or anticipation. Hey, I think that I need to feel this, or I think that I feel like this because this happened. But actually your body knows what is inside. Maybe there's frustration, maybe there's anger, maybe there's sorrow. Whatever is there, simply allowing whatever is there to come. In that deep relaxation, you will see clearly what it is. Allow yourself to feel it, and with that feeling comes understanding. With that understanding comes a release of that tension that energy has created in your system. So, as we move through this, we start to use the breath to unblock, clear, and purify the body, the nervous system, and the mind. Now, we need to do this in a progressive kind of way. We go deeper and deeper and deeper. And as you move through your own journey of understanding, whether it's feeling, releasing emotions, or trauma, you will gain an understanding how the process of healing works by healing yourself. And then you can start to share that understanding of what happened to you. And you share this with people to inspire them to see and find understanding how they can heal themselves. And we help by sharing this knowledge and by holding a safe space for others to go through this process. So it is my joy and my honor to share this beautiful self-healing tool of breathing with you, and much love, and I see you in the next session.